It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago, and it's 7 p.m. in Philadelphia. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio. This is America's Popcast. What's the buzz? Tonight, open forum. We can talk about whatever the fuck we want. And to join me in this unbridled, spirited conversation, two of my besties, my co-host, my man, Callum, Big Calliator. How are you, Cal?
I'm doing well, better than I deserve.
I'm gonna smack you. You say that one more time. And my man, he is my brother from another mother, Mikey. Call me the movie maker Messier. Mikey Messier, how are you? Looking like Captain Jack Sparrow tonight, there, Mikey.
Hey, I'll take it. Good to see you again, Angelo. It's been a while since we've done a podcast together, but I'm happy to be here and happy to work with Callum for the first time and happy.
I'm telling you what, I will tell everyone in the interest of full disclosure, Mike Messier was my very first podcast guest ever.
Yeah, I was telling Callum that was in the I was in the state of South Carolina because I was in the process of moving to Florida, and I pulled over in South Carolina to a cheap hotel and had the Wi-Fi and was talking to you and our buddy Jeff the Ref. So I remember that quite well.
South Carolina is usually where you go through. You don't really stay here; you just travel through it.
You know, Mikey, this month it's funny that very appropriate actually that we're talking about Jeff the Ref. It was 8 years ago this month that we lost Jeff the Ref. You know, we've been on the air almost 10 years, Mike.
Yeah, that's amazing because that flew by, and yeah,
boy,
wow, 8 years,
crazy. Yeah, Cal, we had a professional wrestling podcast when we started this venture many years ago, and we had a co-host. And Mike, just for the record, so you'll know, two co-hosts died on me. Jeff the Ref and Shirley, the psychic, Shirley Bostock.
Oh, she passed away.
She was a sweet, sweet lady, really sweet woman. She
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, cancer ate her up. But it was 8 years ago this month that we lost Jeff the Ref. He was, and Mike, you want to tell me if anything I'm telling is tales out of school, untrue in any way. Was he or was he not the walking Britannica encyclopedia of wrestling?
Yeah, Jeff knew wrestling. Jeff knew wrestling very well, and he was a student of the game and a friend of Ivan Koloff and a referee, of course, and just a guy that everyone that knew him really loved him. And it was a pleasure to know him for the short period I did. And through him and through you, I got to meet some other great people. So I miss Jeff the Ref, and I know his sister, his sister's holding up the mantle, so to speak.
Yep, she sure is. So Mikey, it's been a bit, as the kids like to say, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
What you been up to, kid?
I've been painting a lot, Angelo. I mean, that's one thing on social media. I mean, here's an oversized piece that I did recently.
Oh, okay.
But
terrific.
Yeah, and then my basic signature is pretty much just an M. But I make paintings and then I bring them to events or vending events, or I have a usual gig on Saturdays that I do where I sell my art and then hopefully people buy it. Beyond that, Angelo, the Fight or Play Basketball novel, Mike Messier, Fight or Play Basketball, which you've read a copy of that, and A Distance from Avalon. There has been some recent interest in A Distance from Avalon as a series. Can't really say too much more than that, except it's in the works, hopefully. And just moving forward, everybody. So happy to be here.
I was actually running to my, let me just pull this down here for just a second so we can see everybody. I was just running over to my kind of library wall to pull out Mikey's book, but it's buried behind the Bible and stuff. So I couldn't get to it, Mike.
That's funny. Well, I'm happy that it's there at all. That's cool. That's good.
No, I have actually I have all of your books back here.
Yeah.
The only thing I have not been able to do yet is to purchase an original Mike Messier artwork, but I am working on it.
All right.
What we're going to do tonight is I wanted to find out. I did something. Everybody who watches this show, that they know that I have this love-hate relationship with professional wrestling, and I love to hate it. Is basically what it is. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand where Paul Levesque's head is. Triple H, to you guys who don't know. I'm still trying to make sense of this whole Saudi thing, so I had to go and cheat a little bit. I had to go on Chat GPT and find out what's really going on in pro wrestling. So here's what I know. And Mikey, we're going to talk about this. This will be part of our open forum tonight. I'm going to start right off with the wrestling thing, because it's probably going to occupy a good portion of the show if I know you and me. So I asked Chat GPT what TKO and Endeavor Entertainment, Endeavor Sports, excuse me, are doing in light of the Saudi discussions and WWE. Will it be sold? And they said yes, but not just yet. Which was interesting because ChatGPT gets its information from reliable sources, by and large. So the fact that they said, yes, it's going to be sold confirms what I heard privately from my friend Todd Godfrey, who basically said, yeah, WWE is on the chopping block. It's, it's up for sale. But interestingly, it's up for sale as an entity, but individual pieces of WWE are going to be sold off. For example, Mikey, NXT may be sold off as its own entity, as its own promotion.
Okay.
But now that WWE owns part and parcel of TNA Wrestling, TNA Impact.
Right.
TNA can revert back at their choosing. They can revert back to being their own promotion if things don't work out with the parent company based on the agreement they have, which was show a profit, sell tickets, and garner television ratings, which they are doing all of the above right now. In fact, some people say that they have a better product than the WWE main roster. That's where I want to throw it over to you, Mikey. Okay. What's going on with this whole TKO Endeavor deal?
Well, I don't want to say your guess is as good as mine, because I think yours is probably better than mine right now. My feeling is anything is possible, as they say. But when you gave me the premise of this conversation earlier in the week, my thought was it's kind of like the Titan Sports or Vince McMahon, however you want to phrase that, could have sold the company to TKO, knowing that TKO was kind of a glorified middleman, a glorified flipper as in real estate, because the fan base, like the fan base in general, however you want to view that, might have been disgusted with Vince McMahon if they sold directly to the Saudi Arabian government as a desperation move, because Vince was in the middle of his troubles with the Janelle Grant case, the sexual harassment case. So basically, TKO was a cleanup job, like the dry cleaner that cleans up the money, and you get the prostitutes and the cocaine in the back room, right?
Exactly.
So clean up the company, put a little shine on it, like disguise it with the UFC and talks of merger and all that. And then a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years later, they build up the company again. They get Cody Rhodes over as a talent, Roman Reigns, of course, and then you resell it for a higher profit. And that way it's kind of like it's twice removed. Instead of it going directly from the McMahon family to the Saudi Arabians, which is really distasteful. You have a
Yeah.
buffer of a middleman, which is TKO, which to the hacksaw Duggan patriots out there, we're not going to be quite as offended, and maybe we'll stick around and keep watching their product, and maybe we won't.
Yeah.
But I think that's what possibly the thinking was, if this plays out the way you're saying.
Yeah. Big Cal, your thoughts. I see you're chomping at the bit to say something. Go ahead, brother.
Well, I'm just wondering if Saudi Arabia is going to be taking control. Aren't there going to be new rules and regulations that?
Oh boy, did you open up a Pandora's box? Yeah, yes, indeed. The biggest, and I think Mikey Messi already knows what's coming here. The biggest is the women's division, because Saudi Arabia has a kind of strict policy on what women can wear out in public. And you see these girls wrestle, they're maybe wearing a bathing suit and not much more.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I don't think that, and I think Mikey, maybe you can elaborate on that, but if you look at the Saudi situation, every time they brought women over, it's been in a very, very limited capacity, first of all. And they've had they couldn't wear what they wear here.
Even their women's rights groups are ran by men.
Yeah, Cal just made a good point. And I think it was 5 or 6 years ago that women were protesting in Saudi Arabia for the right to drive vehicles. And some of the women that were leading those protests were imprisoned. And I don't know if they've been let go or not. And I think that's my thing, just for the record, is nothing against the Saudi Arabian people. It's just this government, I believe, executed 81 of its own civilians. And I want to say with a mass public beheading. Yeah. And that was only 8 or 9 years ago. That's not 1960 or 1890.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to the women conversation, there you see a photograph. I do take these photos of the NXT women. That was here in Jacksonville. That's Roxanne Perez. But basically, the women, when they do compete in Saudi Arabia, initially they were wearing oversized T-shirts. It really looked hideous. And then eventually, after 3 or 4 shows, the WWE actually did a pretty nice job with tailor-making outfits. They're kind of sexy in a way, but they're basically covering, from wrist to toe, and you see the ladies' faces, and they're form-fitting outfits, but they are covering the skin at least, or the flesh. Yeah. They just did a women's Royal Rumble over there, which Liv Morgan won, and they've had a few women's title changes over there, and they have just like the WWE men's matches have kind of gotten to the point where you can't really tell if they're in Saudi Arabia besides the crowd reaction. Yeah. The women have come along, except there is a thing where, Tiffany Stratton likes to wear these glamorous, sexy outfits, and Charlotte Flair wears these elaborate outfits, and Rhea Ripley is very provocative in her gothic sexuality. All that stuff is going to be watered down and homogenized if the Saudi Arabia buys the WWE. And who knows? I mean, some of these countries are known to regress with their liberal ideas.
I will go as far as to say, Mikey, and I think I don't think I'm far off the mark. I would go as far as to say that if the Saudis buy WWE, they will completely obliterate the women's division. You will not have a women's division. It will homogenize to the point of extinction.
Right.
And I think that's not far removed from kind of where they are now, really, if you think about it. Rhea Ripley is probably in physical appearance, in skill, in marketability, probably WWE's #1 female, right next to Liv Morgan and the rising Stephanie Vaquer.
Right.
Because that girl's got a rocket strapped to her hind knee. Let me tell you something. And Roxanne Perez, needless to say, Roxanne is a star.
Yes.
She's a star. There's no question about what she is. And Mikey sent me some pictures this week. of wrestling in Florida. Um, we're going to talk about. We're going to tie Tony Khan into this mixture because Tony is actually from that part of the world. He and his father are from that part of the world. Um, do you think, all things being equal, if Tony Khan were to purchase WWE, and he has the financial wherewithal to do so,
Sure.
no question about it. If Tony Khan were, let's play what if. What if Tony buys WWE? How does Tony convey to his fellow Saudis, because he's from that part of the world?
Right.
How does he convey to them, hey, look, you guys don't understand. You can make a lot of money with these women. These women generate a lot of cash. You know? Do you think the countrymen, will they buy it? Will they understand it? Or will they just, will the strongholds always be, women are down here and the men are up here? Because that's how they think.
My gut instinct is that Tony Khan, the son, and his father Shad Khan, maybe the father is different, but Tony has never really shown much of an interest or much of an admiration for the Middle East. I mean, he had Britt Baker, one of the AEW women on TV, cut a promo where she mentioned something about Saudi Arabia, the WWE shows in Saudi Arabia. She just kind of threw it out there like as a negative stab, like a negative insult. And I don't think Tony Khan, the younger Khan, I don't think he has any loyalty to the Middle East. I think that's his ethnicity, but I think he considers himself an American capitalist as well. He should, because that's what he is. And I think Tony's just happy playing wrestling promoter. He has his giant collection of human action figures to wrestle with. And I think, would he be happy to buy the WWE or a segment of it? I think he would. I mean, I think that's a very good point, Angelo. If they do break up this multi-package, you got AAA in the mix now. I could see Tony Khan having an interest in that.
Exactly.
How much does the Chinese government have a hold over the WWE?
Chinese?
Oh, well, it's an interesting relationship between WWE and the Chinese, because Shane McMahon, despite what people think, did not rely on his father for his wealth. Shane McMahon became a millionaire in China, and he did it selling television packages. And I don't mean, buy a subscription of this. I mean, we're talking, conglomerates. He sold television companies to China.
I brought this up because there was a thing a little while ago where John Cena, he mentioned Taiwan, and the Chinese government didn't like that. And they made John Cena do
I know what you're talking about.
Mandarin.
Hold on there, Cal. I got to correct you where I can correct you. Okay, so I understand what you're talking about, and I know why you're mentioning it. John Cena, in a wrestling promo, mentioned Taiwan, China. What he failed to say was why he mentioned Taiwan, because you can't mention it without telling the public why you're doing so. He just, obligatorily threw Taiwan out there. And so the government of China was like, okay, now wait a minute now. Okay? We understand. He's one of us. You remember something. John Cena lived in China for 13 years. He lived there.
Yeah, he speaks fluent Mandarin.
He speaks the language. I was just about to say that. He speaks the language. So if he said something disparaging against Taiwan, which was not the case, I understand that. That would be grounds for him to get, slapped and beaten, whatever the hell. The problem was that he did a wrestling promo, but didn't tell people why he mentioned Taiwan. It was come out to Taiwan. It was what it was supposed to be. I'm doing a show. We're coming here. The WWE is coming to Taiwan. He failed to say that. And that's why the government was, okay, well, why did you mention Taiwan for? You said something about Taiwan and that you didn't follow up on it. What happened here? He even got he got shit from the Chinese government. He got shit from WWE corporate. He got shit from TKO. I got news for you, brother. He got beat up all around.
I thought it was just because he mentioned Taiwan and basically referenced it as its own separate entity. And
yeah, that's what I was to understand.
He did. He absolutely did, which it is not. And the Chinese government took a great deal of offense there. But the problem was within the context of a wrestling promo, he was supposed to tell people why they were coming to Taiwan.
Okay. So
which he didn't do. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They frown upon that.
They frown upon anyone indicating in any way that Taiwan is its own separate entity, not part of China. Basically, that's the way I understood it. And so
your buddies from Monty and the Pharaoh were here. Hey, you guys! No, this is not the new team. In fact, we are doing open forum night. We normally don't even speak about professional wrestling, but I heard rumors, and I'm sure everybody else did, that the Saudi government is interested in WWE. So we're just exploring some ideas. If you guys want to stick around and pop in here, you're more than welcome. I'll send you a link and you can join us if you like.
Well, Monty's a very well-rounded guy, and the Pharaoh just got married, actually, so that's pretty good.
Pharaoh got married to my friend Karen McDaniel, who is probably not my friend anymore. Well, it was probably not my friend anymore because Karen and I had a really great relationship. I haven't talked to her since she and Jimmy got married, but maybe I'll broach the subject with Mike Monty. So, but thanks for joining me. I'm assuming that's Mike. I'm hoping it's not Jimmy. Oh shit. The other thing with regard to wrestling, because I have, again, in full disclosure, I haven't been involved in wrestling since I said goodbye to it and turned it over to Benny and Danny. And that was it. And that was the very last time I spoke wrestling on this program. Last time.
I'm not sure if Callum, are you a pro wrestling fan at all, or is not really?
I was actually about to mention I was at one time, but this was back in the D Generation X days.
Okay.
You know, China, Triple H.
97, 98, 99 type of thing.
Yep.
Wow.
I'll say this about me in pro wrestling. I've gone through waves of, more interest, less interest, but I've never taken a full-on sabbatical. I mean, I've definitely, my interest has ebbed and flowed, but right now you could say it's ebbing. But there I was, Saturday night in Jacksonville at an NXT show, taking pictures and talking to the guy next to me about the Crockett days. So it's hard for me to fully give up wrestling. Wrestling was such an escape for me as a kid, from an interesting childhood, let's put it that way. But wrestling was this giant portal into my own world, and I still like to go into that world. I would say, is there anything now that really keeps me ticking with, I will say this, AEW is right. At least they used to have shows every week in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, not too far from me. But I don't go there. I'm not going to AEW shows these days. And very simple reason, Angelo, which you would probably appreciate. There are too many damn titles in AEW. There's about
There's too many damn titles in wrestling, Mike.
Well, and if it was the old days where you had, the AWA champion was Bockwinkel and Dory Funk Jr. was the NWA champion and Bruno was the WWF champion. That's one thing. But within AEW, they have, 6 or 7 men's singles titles at any time.
Right.
They have the Ring of Honor titles, which they have all these women have.
Oh,
two
look,
or
you
three
got
titles.
the Tuesday night champion. You got the Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock champion. You
Yeah,
had that most ridiculous thing, the 24-hour champion. What the fuck was that shit all about?
Yeah, my
still don't
attention span doesn't work like that.
I just don't understand it. So Monty and Farrow have a question. Where is the lady? The lady became a grandmom, and she informed me and Cal that she won't be coming back, but she still does work for our show behind the scenes. She makes our posters and she sends out our links and does stuff like that, which is a beautiful thing for us, and we thank her for that. But Amelia, is her name, Amelia Chapman, is being a grandmom, and she loves it.
That's great.
So no, this is not the new team. This is me and Cal are the new team, and this is our buddy Mikey come to visit us tonight. But thank you guys for hanging out. Please hang out with us all night. Ask more questions if you want. Whatever you got, commentary. I'm good for it. And my skin is a hell of a lot thicker since I left wrestling, boys. I'm gonna tell you that now. I mean that when I tell you I haven't watched or participated in any wrestling programming, discussion, podcast. I've been Benny and Dan asked me to come on their show. I guess it was about 8-9 months ago, something like that, whatever it was. I told him no. I said, I grew past that. Thank you, God.
It sounds like you're in the.
I saw my first wrestling match when I was 7 years old at the Philadelphia Arena. It was Killer Kowalski and Bruno Sammartino. Okay. And Kowalski was wearing a hood.
As the executioner?
Yeah. But wait, here's the best part. He wrestled twice that night. He wrestled as Killer Kowalski, and then he wrestled there's Amelia. And he wrestled as the executioner. Then he came out and wrestled as Killer Kowalski. But here's the thing: he's had the same tights on,
and nobody can tell the difference between.
Nobody, no. It's like when Superman puts his glasses on and becomes Clark Kent. You can't tell
because there's so many 6'7", 240-pound vegan wrestlers that it's hard to tell one from the other.
Amelia. Mike Monty and Jimmy Farrow were just asking, where's the lady? Here's the lady, you guys. She's right here.
Hi, Amelia.
Right here. As far as I know, she still wants to be a grandmom, and I invited her back to the show, and she basically told me and Cal to kiss her ass. And
El Ruffian's comment made me chuckle.
I want to bring up a topic, if I could, for you guys. Because it's a non-wrestling topic, and I know that Callum is a conspiracy theorist, and Angelo has a good experience in that too. So unfortunately, this really sad story, which it seems to be having some developments as we speak, the Savannah Guthrie's mom story, and it's very sad. I mean, I'll be honest, the last couple of years, I developed a celebrity crush on Miss Savannah Guthrie. I just think she's kind of a spitfire and she's a lot of fun. But unfortunately for everybody, and especially her and her family, this is such a depressing story of grandma. What is she, 84 years old or 86?
84, yeah.
Yeah, she's been kidnapped and held for ransom. Do you guys have any theories, or you guys?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
I think it's someone in the family.
Okay.
I think there's a family connection. I don't know if I want to go out on a limb and say publicly who I think, because with cases like this, they flow, they change like the wind. Okay, you could have something happen now. 10 minutes from now, it could be a completely different story. Right. So I don't want to say what I think, but I do believe. My gut just tells me there's going to be some kind of family, either connection or family involvement in this. So I may come back. You don't know when.
From the interviews,
you better come back soon because we're freaking dying here without you.
From the interviews I've heard, I I honestly don't believe some of the family's emotion. I'm just gonna watch as it goes.
Okay, let me ask you, Cal. Go ahead and kind of expound on that, because I want you to have a little bit of FaceTime tonight.
Well, they've had a couple of interviews with the family, and I just personally don't believe any of their emotion. Like, it all seems scripted or forced. Just something.
Someone else said that. Mikey Messier, someone else said it felt contrived, that their emotion didn't feel genuine. Your thoughts on that, Mike?
I think that's everyone can have their perceptions. I think it's tough because it's kind of like when someone dies, who's to say what the emotion should be? Everyone reacts differently in grief. A famous case, I just cited this in one of my creative writings, the O.J. Simpson, after the alleged murders,
Yeah.
he got what, picked up by a limousine service and taken to the airport and was on a plane.
Yeah.
And nobody on the plane, the pilot or the stewardess or the other passengers, nobody said, hey, OJ was here and he really looked perturbed or he really looked upset about something. Nobody reported that. So the human condition, people are good actors. Even non-actors are good actors at times. And
man, if you don't believe what Mikey is saying, folks, tune over to TikTok every once in a while. You'll see all kinds of acting there, like really good stuff too, like Academy Award caliber acting on TikTok.
Well, my point is just, who's to say? I mean, I'm not discounting what Callum is saying. I'm just saying anything is open to interpretation, but I'm curious. I guess I'm more curious about what Callum was saying. You feel like they're not being sincere. You're seeing indications of that, or just your instincts?
It's just, how they're getting the words, how they're projecting the message. It just seems like it's scripted. They're being told what to say.
But let me ask you this:
give me an example of what you think they're being told to say. I mean, it's a blanket statement, and I get where you're going, but give me like specifics. What do you think? What sounds contrived that they're saying that you think they're being told to say?
Well, the uncle or the brother, the bald guy with the glasses.
Okay.
When he's sitting there crying about, please return her, it just didn't sound like somebody that was really missing a family member. Like,
Can I push back on that for a second?
Yeah,
Angela?
please do. Sure.
I guess I would say, is it quite possible that these family members have, by the police or the FBI or whoever, have been programmed, or not programmed, but presented with, if you want your mom back in one piece, this is the verbiage that in the past has proven to work the best in these videos, these type of videos. Is it possible that what you're seeing as being insincerity is that they've been coached basically
Mikey,
how to present themselves?
Mikey, that absolutely ties into a question we have on the screen right now. Al Ruffian wants to know: is it the tone or the inflection? Question mark. That is the giveaway here.
It's the tone. The inflection is fine. It's just the tone just sounds too calm after they've been told that if they want Miss Guthrie's return, they have to pay like $8 million in Bitcoin.
I thought it was like, what was it, 6 million? I believe. Was am I wrong about that? What was the amount, Mikey? I know they were talking about some astronomical number in Bitcoin. I don't know what Bitcoin is.
Well, Bitcoin is,
or how you spend it, or how you get it, or whatever. But
yeah, Bitcoin is an alternate form of payment. It's an alternate form of currency that was created, I believe, as a disruptor, and I don't particularly like it because Bitcoin there are machines that are needed to mine Bitcoin that create terrible noise pollution for the people that live in anywhere close to those machines. And of course, the people that are buying and spending and using Bitcoin don't care about these people that are suffering because of what they're
Yeah.
doing. So that I don't like Bitcoin altogether. I think this particular case, if this payment is made with Bitcoin, maybe this will be a catalyst to banish or lessen the impact of Bitcoin on our world, which I think would be good.
Yeah.
Um, that's a whole other topic, but
Yeah.
Bitcoin is also known, and I could be wrong, and maybe Callum knows more than I do on this one, but Bitcoin is known for being, if you want to do an underground, payment, right? Like something
Mhm.
seedy and something
Yeah.
nasty and outside the rules,
Right.
Bitcoin's the way to go. Like Bitcoin is the least traceable, less traceable than
Oh, I
standardized.
was going to say, there's no way to trace it. How do you mine something? First of all, I don't understand what I've heard that term before, that you
Yeah.
mine Bitcoin, and I don't know what that means. If it's like you actually like
No, it's
dig.
computer stuff, and
Oh, I got you.
the computers have to use so much energy and so much
I got you.
they are called Bitcoin, and Callum, clue us in, because you probably know more than us, but there's these centers, like these places that they put in, kind of in the middle of nowhere, where these machines are doing Bitcoin, like mining, the term mining Bitcoin, but they
Mhm.
make a hum, like a really nasty low caliber noise that
Right?
pollutes the air, and it gives people migraine headaches and stuff. And
Really?
yeah, if you look it up, there was a 60 Minutes or a 2020 report, like people who live
Wow.
near these Bitcoin factories, they buy their home 30, 40, 50 years ago, and then there's no such thing as Bitcoin 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Right.
now
Exactly.
they get this
Yeah.
this center near their home. It's
Yeah.
basically like if a nuclear power plant moved into your neighborhood, and hey, don't worry folks, we're only going to leak a little bit of nuclear energy into the
Yeah.
water in your system. So I'm very anti Bitcoin, and I think that if this case proves to be some actors, like if Savannah Guthrie's in on it, I mean, if we're really going to go to the extreme here with the conspiracy theory, if this
Yeah.
whole thing was made up as a way to destroy Bitcoin, that would be interesting. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it would be interesting if that's what was happening.
Yeah, but that would be such an extreme way to go about it, would it not?
Hey,
Or am I?
I mean, JFK was shot, and that was extreme. So, I mean, there's all
Yeah.
types of things that are extreme.
Yeah.
8 million would like destroy the currency.
Yeah. That's crazy. I just, you see, the whole thing is unknown to me. I don't understand it. To me, money is money. It's green, it's white, it's cash, it's silver you can hold in your hand. To me, that's cash.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
hear
even
right.
a card, has backing to it
I
because
think
you can
yeah.
insure it. But this whole idea of spending something that's money, but it's not money, and it's not traceable, but yet it is. I don't understand it.
There are videos that can give you an overview, and I've watched some of those videos, and it's still confusing, Angelo. And it's the way that I perceive it.
Yeah.
And Callum, you can fill us in, but like 20 years ago,
Right.
the idea of Bitcoin was basically to create an alternate money source to
Yeah.
avoid the man, the US government or any government.
Yeah.
Let's have our own currency so we don't get taxed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
problem is when the higher institutions like banks and like PayPal and Venmo started accepting Bitcoin, and PayPal even nourishes Bitcoin. So when the
Yeah.
anti-establishment currency starts getting accepted by more mainstream stuff, it ruins the whole point of it. And it just
Yeah.
becomes a big blurry mess. And I think at one point Trump was anti-Bitcoin, and now he seems to have, I don't know if he's flip-flopped or if he's lessened.
And I don't understand any.
Bitcoin is
Any-
just honestly, Bitcoin is almost unstoppable. Like that's why people want it. The American dollar, that can fall at any time, but Bitcoin will still retain its value.
Well, but here's the thing, though, and if every currency has its hit its break point. The dollar certainly has its break point. The yen, the lira, they all have their break point. The break, and what that means in terms of money, a break point means it's that point where it's no longer worth its face value. In other words, for like example, a dollar today is only worth about 40 cents. 40 cents, which is why you got to spend a lot more dollars to get a product that costs you $10 2 years ago is now going to cost you $30.
Right now, an ounce of silver is over $100.
$100 is nothing for silver. There was a time in this country, my young friend, when silver was $1,300 an ounce. In the 1970s, artificially boosted through the roof by two brothers named the Hunt brothers. Mike Messier, you're a student of history. You might remember the Hunt brothers.
I actually don't. So I'm curious as to what you're talking about.
The Hunt brothers were two brothers from the state of Texas that were in the oil industry. They invested a ton of money in silver. They bought so much silver that these two brothers, literally two brothers, artificially created a cap on silver that's never been seen before or since. Silver was almost $1,300 an ounce.
Wow.
People were selling, they're dumping their gold. Gold was worth $300 an ounce. Silver was worth $1,300. People who had gold were dumping gold to buy silver. But what happened within a year? The Hunt brothers bought back every conceivable amount of silver that they sold. They deflated the market, and gold went from $300 an ounce to over $2,000 an ounce. They didn't realize what they were doing, but they artificially boosted the price of silver and the price of gold, both inadvertently. Because if you buy one, one's going to go up and one's going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying gold, gold's going up. If you're buying silver, silver's going up. That's why the Hunt brothers, these two guys from Texas, bought all of this silver. They wanted to see how far up they could push the price of silver. Well, they pushed it up so high that the entire country, based on two guys in Texas, the entire country was selling silver for almost $1,300 an ounce. That's crazy, ridiculous rich. You know what kind of rich that is?
Very.
That's the kind of rich, like, you see that silver?
Yeah.
I could buy a car with it. That's the kind of rich. That's the kind of rich we're talking about.
Right.
Rothschild's rich.
So
Rothschild rich, yeah, for sure.
So I what we're still here, and you know, so what happened? Like, what was the resolution, or was there any resolution to that scenario?
The resolution was that they bought back as much as they could afford to buy back, almost bankrupting themselves. But what they also did in the process was the price of silver actually deflated to its original cost, which was $60-$70 an ounce.
Right.
And gold was somewhere between $200 and $300 an ounce at the time. And gold went to a certain level, and it stayed there, and it went up, and it stayed there, and it kept going. And gold, if you watch the way gold trends, it trends in increments. It goes up levels and it stops. Then it goes up a few levels, then it stops. That's done on purpose. And I'm going to tell you how and why it's done on purpose. That's how your dollar is backed. Despite the fact that there are people who say that we are not on the gold standard. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, oh, yes, the fuck we are. We are on a gold standard. If your money is worth anything, it's because there's something behind it. Otherwise, your money, you could take them $100 bills that Mike Messier's got boxes full in his closet, and I know, and you could wallpaper your wall with it because that it won't be worth shit. You know what I'm saying? It's so much money that has no value if there's no standard behind it.
Well, Angelo,
It's just paper.
Could I ask you, in the 60s, what I've heard, and I could be wrong, did President Nixon detach the American dollar from gold bars in Fort Knox? Is that what happened?
Richard Nixon took America off the gold standard on paper.
Okay.
On paper. The reason they did that, and it has a lot to do with Fort Knox, they had so much gold in the Fort Knox gold reserve, they had to physically transport it to Nevada. Okay?
Yep.
And that some of that gold is still buried in that desert, and only the government knows where it's buried. But they literally buried it in the desert in container vaults, like those things you see on ships.
Right.
They had like 3 of them that they filled with different types of, mostly gold, but all kinds of like important minerals. Copper, zinc, aluminum alloy, which is used for pretty much everything, especially making coins. We don't make pennies anymore. The U.S. Mint stopped making pennies.
I say we go to Nevada and start digging.
Whatever pennies there are in circulation, that's it. That's it. There are no pennies left. There, whatever's in circulation is it.
Okay.
No pennies are being made. And nickels, dimes, and quarters, $50, silver dollar pieces, are all being made out of aluminum alloy, different kinds of junk metals thrown together. And they basically mean nothing, but here's what's important. They have to weigh a certain amount in order to fit in machines, in order to work in machines. A quarter has to be the same weight now as it was 50 years ago.
Right. Because
it's a standard of measures and balances. And there's an actual thing called measures and balances in the government. I noticed because I'm kind of like a brainiac when it comes to stupid shit, and I remember
when I was a kid, my dad told me, like, if you go to a movie theater and there's just a couple of games where you can the robot and the claw and you can get a bunny. Yeah. So those type of you go to a laundromat, there might be 1 or 2. My dad always told me that the mafia ran those things, and I shouldn't support them. Do you have any thoughts on that, Angelo?
They still do.
Okay.
And back in the day, what the big thing was jukeboxes, cigarette machines, and vending machines. Nothing's changed. And go to any big city. Go into a big city that's got like a popular bar, right, and they have a video machine on the bar, or they got like a video poker, right?
Yeah.
Something like that,
or trivia or something.
Exactly. Who do you think? Who do you think put those there?
It's the mafia.
Probably some guy named Castellucci or Bonanno or some shit like that.
Right.
Some guy with a lot of vowels on
cigarette machines.
It was a ruffian said. Here you go. Ruffian says, "I got a whole water jug full of pennies." Hold on to your pennies, there, Ruff.
Bidding starts at $3,000.
Right? Yeah. What's that, Cal?
I said the bidding starts at like $5,000.
Right? Yeah. Right. Here you go. Let me do this real quick. I think I've got one spot in here that I got to run tonight. Where is it? I'm gonna see something here. Is it still in here? I don't know. Cal, I don't think I have my spot ready, my friend. Oh, yes, I do. Hot damn. Hold on. I got to get my spot out here. I got to run this before we do it. Okay. and my spot. This is crazy, folks. I normally would have this all done tonight, but the problem is, I had to redo my computer twice tonight in order to make it work.
It's not your dog spot. It's not Arn Anderson's spot. It's not Kurt Henning's spot.
It's Spotify's spot.
Spotify spot.
Hey Max, what's going on? I'm X, and from this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify. Let's go. Up next, I know you've been on a summer song kick lately, so I went back for some of your old summertime favorites. See if it warms you up. Next up, some of the music you had on a lot back in 2018.
Do you think of me? Walking out there.
All right, Max, let's get you out of your feels and switch up the vibe. You've been into dance music lately. I got this brand new release to get you moving. Introducing DJ, the best of Spotify made just for you, one tap away. Powered by AI, delivered by me.
There you go. All right. Now, Cal, what do we got coming up tomorrow night?
Tomorrow we have another open forum.
You bet you wish we do. Mikey, you want to join us tomorrow night and talk about the fighter play basketball?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I can do that.
Good. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Mikey. I'm going to send you a link right now.
All
Hey,
right.
I noticed Monty was banned.
Thank you so much, Cal. I appreciate that. Oh, man.
Cal broke the fourth wall or the third wall.
Yeah, he sure the fuck did.
Oh, gee whiz. Well,
here we go, Mikey.
Sure. Yeah.
Over here, there's a section called private chat. Go over there. There's a link for you tomorrow night.
All right, thanks.
You got it.
Well, gentlemen, this has been a lot of fun to reunite with Angelo and to meet a new friend here and Cal, and look forward to coming back tomorrow to talk about my novel,
Absolutely.
Fight or Play Basketball, which did record the audiobook version, which is only it's slightly less than 4 hours. So if anyone's listening tonight and wants to prep for a discussion tomorrow night, pick up Fight or Play Basketball. It's on Amazon.
I'm noticing, Mikey, that's a brand new cover.
Yeah, thanks, Angelo. Yeah, because I sent you a copy a few years ago. So this cover,
I have the original cover. Yeah,
you do, which might be worth something someday. Who knows? So basically, this background painting of the boxing glove and the basketball, I painted that, and then I took the still image of the young man who represents the character of Jack, and I kind of blew him up. And I did these the fonts. I played around with different fonts, and if you can tell, the color scheme, Angelo, is that anything. There's red and orange. Red represents boxing. Orange represents basketball.
Right.
So it's kind of a mix of those colors. And even my name is red, and Mike is in red. Orange has Messier, and it's a two-sport story, which is kind of unique. You know, normally you don't see that.
It's a great book. If you haven't read. Cal, do you have? I actually have a couple copies here. I got 2 copies. I'll send you one, Cal. Or if you're real nice, maybe you'll get the new version from Mike Messier. But we'll see him tomorrow night. Mikey, I will see you tomorrow night, my friend. Cal, stay out of trouble if you can.
Always.
Well, you didn't tonight.
Oh, I know.
All right. Well, listen, folks, take care. Till we see you again tomorrow night. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We'll be here. So, smile, stay out of trouble, be nice to each other. I always tell people, Mike, this is the truth, Mike. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So smile. Make everybody think you're fucking crazy, that you're loony, that you're simple. Just smile. Because I do it all the time, and they all think I'm freaking loony. And maybe they might have a point. Take care, you guys.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Night.